let's just get straight to the intel. Look, the old model is dead on arrival.
Yeah, it is.
If you are still out there selling hours, even at some premium rate, you are technically obsolete. We are looking at a fundamental rewrite of the economic landscape. I'm looking at the chatter out of the Valley right now, and Sam Altman has a literal betting pool going with his CEO circle.
The wager is highly specific. They are betting on the exact quarter we see the first one-person, $1 billion valuation company.
Which, a few years ago, you would be laughed out of the room for even suggesting.
I would have called it a complete fantasy, just typical tech hype. But it is not optimism anymore because the actual architecture exists now. We aren't talking about a freelancer or a solopreneur hustling gigs.
Right.
We are reviewing the operational firmware for a new economic species. The sovereign operator.
A sovereign economic entity. Okay, let's refactor that for a solo-scale operation. What is the actual structural difference between this operator and just a really high-end consultant?
Extreme leverage. A consultant is still selling time. The sovereign operator is an orchestrator. They run a minimalist, automated industrial machine. No employees, just code.
So we need to unpack the command stack. Because I think most people hear AI and they just picture, chatting with a bot to draft an email.
Yeah, and that is the user mindset. That is entirely obsolete.
Exactly.
The shift here, and we are pulling from Microsoft's Autogen framework and Andrew Ng's work, is toward agentic workflows.
Agentic workflows. Break that down for the operator. How does that deploy in reality?
In the legacy model, you are the carpenter swinging the hammer. Under agentic command, you are the foreman. You don't swing anything, you instruct the crew.
So you are spinning up digital employees.
Correct. It is a control layer. You deploy a market research agent, a code refactoring agent, and here is the actual cybernetic mechanism, a critic agent.
Wait, a critic agent?
Yes. So you need a deployment. Agent A builds it. Agent B, the critic, audits it against your strict parameters, flags the vulnerabilities, and kicks it back to Agent A.
Without any human input.
They iterate in a closed loop. You never touch the keyboard. Andres Karpathy nailed this. The large language model is the new operating system. You just issue mission-level commands to the OS.
Okay, but here is the critical vulnerability in that entire stack. You can engineer this flawless digital infrastructure, but if the hardware, meaning the human operator, is foggy, the whole system crashes.
The system absolutely crashes.
Because managing an autonomous swarm is cognitively brutal.
It is the ultimate bottleneck. Section 5 of the briefing outlines the biological engine. If you have infinite leverage, but your decision logic is degraded from lack of sleep, you are just scaling catastrophic errors at light speed.
Right, which brings us to the actual operational protocols, the E5.3 insight phase.
Strict adherence required. You wake up and immediately enter 90 to 120 minutes of zero distraction deep work.
And they are deploying biological triggers here, Huberman's visual field protocols.
Yeah, narrowing your visual focus to a fixed point. It forces a neurochemical dump that locks the brain into a high computation state. You are mechanically overclocking the processor.
It is literally treating the human body like a server rack.
You wouldn't ignore thermal throttling on a server cluster. You cannot ignore recovery in the operator. That is the logic behind non-sleep deep rest and SDR.
Which feels like a nap, but you were actually awake.
It is not a nap. It is a biological cache clear. You use it to reset the sodium-potassium balance in your neural pathways so you can spin back up to max capacity.
Plus the morning sunlight for circadian anchoring. Classic Matthew Walker protocols.
Right. Because if you have caffeine in your system 10 hours before sleep, you are corrupting the file save process that your brain runs overnight.
Okay, zoom out to the end game here. We have the agentic stack. We have the optimized biological engine. Is the objective to just sit on a beach while the agents print capital, like some ultimate passive income fantasy?
No, that is a civilian fantasy.
Yeah.
The sovereign decree outright rejects passive income. The target is anti-fragility, Taleb's concept.
You build a system that gains strength from chaos, not one that lets you retreat.
Exactly. You are constructing an entity that executes your definite purpose with zero bureaucratic friction. The operator isn't a manager.
Right, the business, the revenue, these agents, they are just the mechanism.
They are. The orchestrator is the finished product in gestation. End of briefing.